Welcome to the Savage Coil Guide. Today, I'm going to try and show you how to deal with Nail in Savage Coil Turn 4, or T9S. Quick reminder, this is a guide, not a rule. So if your party is struggling or came up with a better solution, feel free to ignore this guide. Without further ado, let's jump into it. T9S fight can be split into 3 phases with 1 intermission in between. Phase 1. The fight will start with a couple autos, and Nail will hit main tank with Ravenclaw, a tank buster cleave. It's followed by Stardust, which target one random player with a red or yellow marker. And after 5 seconds, it'll snapshot to the position and drop a meteor with deal proximity AoE damage. This meteor will kill anyone under it if they don't move in time. If a meteor drops too close to another meteor, it'll cause that meteor to explode and wipe the whole party. The save radius is around this big. While that is happening, Nail will cast Raven's Peak, which is a tank buster that will also apply a Raven Blight, which will explode and deal AoE damage when the debuff expires. Tank will need to swap, and the tank with the debuff will need to move away to not hit the party. Tip: tank doesn't have to go all the way out. The party can provide tank uptime by also moving away from them. Here's what my group do. When the debuff explodes, you also give a vuln up to the person. After Raven's Peak, Nail will do Raven Dive, which will target one random person outside of this radius. This means that this jump is beatable by having everyone else stand underneath Nail and one person stay outside to keep it consistent. There's also this strat where tank pull Nail all the way north and have ranges to spread out to bait the jump. We prefer having one person baiting since it makes it more consistent. After the jump, Nail will cast Iron Chariot, which is an AoE around Nail, and knockback anyone who get hit by it, which can cause them fly towards the dead wall. Nail mark one person with Thermionic Beam marker, which is a stack marker. You can stack around the center of the arena to make it easier. If you use the one person bait tactic, everyone else is already stacked, so it's prone to last error. Afterward, she'll jump back to whoever have the highest enmity. Nail will repeat the Ravenclaw and Stardust. But now, Nail will follow it up with Lunar Dynamo, a donut AoE that doesn't kill you, but it is a lifesteal which heals Nail for each person hit by it. This AoE have a limit, so you can outrange it if you are out of position. This follow with a Meteor Stream, where Nail will mark 3 players who is on a main tank with a blue marker. And shortly after, she'll jump and deal AoE damage around the player mark. If you get hit by the Lunar Dynamo, you're dead unless the healer uses a single target heal on you. You also don't want to overlap it. There are 2 ways to avoid killing each other. 1. Having Nail center and everyone spread on the clock spot. If you get the marker, you run straight out, and if you don't, you stay in. 2. Have the Nail all the way north and range spread apart while the melee spread behind Nail to indicate where they are going to run. There are pro and cons with both strat, so choose whichever works best for your group. Nail will jump back to the highest enmity player and deals AoE damage around that player, so stay away from the tank. After another Raven's Peak, Raven's Claw, and Stardust, Nail will jump once again to do double Meteor Stream. Spread apart and leave center to healer so that they can reach everyone with their heal. This pattern will repeat until Nail HP reaches 68%, which will mark the beginning of intermission phase. Intermission. Nail will jump to the center, indicating that this phase has started. Nail will target 3 players with green marker. This behave the same as the red and yellow marker, which it will drop the meteor to the person mark, but the difference is, after the meteor has fallen, it will spawn a golem. There are 3 golem. Red, blue, and green. These golem will tear to each other if they get too close and makes a super golem, causing a wipe. So we want to tank them separately and far apart. And if the golem gets too close to a meteor, they will eat them. However, if any golem eats 4 meteor, it will also make a super golem, causing a wipe. Each time the golem eats a red meteor, the golem will gain damage up stack. And each time they eat a yellow meteor, they'll get haste buff stack. If there's a meteor lying around when this phase is finished, it will cause an explosion, causing a wipe. So we want to make the golems eat all the meteors. Let me explain what each golem does. Right golem doesn't do any auto attack damage, but will cast Heavy Strike, which is a growing 270 degrees cone AoE. This AoE doesn't really kill you in one hit, unless if they have a damage up. Red Golem will also cast Earthen Heart, which is an AoE that leaves a fire puddle. Blue Golem also doesn't do any auto attack damage, but Blue Golem will cast Magnetism, which will attract anything that's inside this radius, including players and meteors. Blue Golem will also cast Earthshock, which is an interruptible AoE damage that gives a paralyzed debuff. Green Golem have 2 tank buster. One is a single target and one is a cleave. Green Golem will also cast Demolish, which is a rate-wide damage. Now, there are 2 ways of handling the golems. You can have one thing on green, one thing on blue, and 1 DPS on red. Or you can put one thing on green, a P-range on blue, and one thing on red. Both will work, and all the other DPS will focus on non-green golem. This is because in 20 seconds, golem will swap color with each other. And preferably, we want to kill the green golem since that is the hardest hitting one, and we don't have enough damage to kill it before they swap. You have around 1 minute to eliminate all the meteors and golems before the next set. The next set is kinda the same as normal, but there are two sets of double meteors happening, where two players will get marked by the red or yellow at the same time, which means the Mario Kart strat doesn't work here. In order to solve it, we spread around the clock spot inside this circle, and when you get the marker, you go outside to drop your meteor. However, it is possible for the same person to get marked 3 times. In that case, you can take someone else's spot if they don't have the meteor, or you can take this spot inside. This will guarantee that the meteor is not too close to each other. There'll be a burst of damage coming out, so healers should put down ground mitigation or AoE regen to help. Small note: most of the time it doesn't really matter, but try not to feed Grid Golem 3 damage up, or the damage will wipe the party. 2 stack is fine, but make sure to use Addle and Feint to help mitigating the damage. 3 haste on red or blue make it impossible to interrupt the cast or dodge the puddle, so avoid that case as well. Once all that done, Nail will cast Mega Flare, indicating the start of Phase 2. Mega Flare is a heavy rate-wide damage, so make sure to shield and top everyone up. Phase 2. To prepare for Phase 2, you want to stand inside this circle. You want to put marker around it since the arena will change. Nail will drop on the main tank, so they want to be separate from the rest of the party. Nail will cast Heaven's Fall. This will drop a pillar at the center of the arena. These pillars will kill anyone who's too close to it, and it will knock everyone back. You can use Arm Strike to prevent it. It is okay for proc, but I won't recommend it for the region that I will talk later. After getting knocked back, 2 pizza will spawn at a random position and it will go either clockwise or counterclockwise. You can dodge it by following the direction, or waiting for the first one to explode and move towards it. On top of all that, 3 people will get the meteor marker. Please note, these meteors does not explode if 2 meteors is dropped too close to each other. So what we want to do is the people that have this marker to stay close to the wall and pop sprint after the marker disappear, and they will go to the center. Everyone else who does not have it will be running in the inside close to the pillar to reduce the meteor damage. Be careful to not touch the wall in the middle. That is also a dead wall. Once all of that done, a dragon will spawn. This dragon will need to be killed as soon as possible. In the meantime, Nail will give one random person who is not a tank a Groot debuff, which will kill the person when the debuff expires. In order to avoid that, you want to grab the puddle left by the dragon once they are killed. Nail will apply 2 Garrote before casting another Heaven's Fall. If you get a second Garrote, you can grab the puddle before the Heaven's Fall finish casting and go back to the safe spot, or you can pop the knockback resist, and this is why I would recommend saving it. Note, the dragon will leave 3 puddles, but we only need 2, so we can afford making one mistake, like if someone is standing on it without the Groot debuff. The second Heaven's Falls is an alternating pizza pattern. On top of dodging these patterns, Nail will mark 3 players with meteor, and will also fire 3 supernovas to 3 random player. The additional damage from supernova is very small. However, it will leave a puddle. If a player touches this puddle, it will suck you and deals 5.5k damage, and it also will apply heavy debuff. To resolve this, friends can separate themselves from the party to give them some space. Make sure they are shielded, and once knockback happens, stay at the edge until you see either your meteor marker disappear or second supernova happens. Once that's done, go to the center to mitigate meteor damage. Avoid supernova if they are red next to you. Note, there are 3 supernovas, but by the time the second one is out, the third one is already snapshot, so it is safe to move after. Dragon will spawn again, kill it as soon as possible. If you have Groot debuff still lingering from the previous Heaven's Fall, you can use this time to cleanse it. Nail will cast another Heaven's Fall. The third Heaven's Fall is a big pizza pattern. Simply stand on a cardinal, wait to see which cardinal is first, and move towards the safe spot and pop sprint if you have to. If you have a meteor, stand on the wall, wait for the second supernova, and go inside. Do dragon and Nail will repeat back to the first pattern, and this will continue until Nail HP reach 40%, which will start Phase 3. Phase 3. Nail will cast Bombus Favor, which will give Nail a damage up stack and indicate the start of Phase 3. This will spawn 3 dragon outside the arena. Fire, Ice, and Lightning. Fire Dragon will target 1 player, and after 5 seconds, Dragon will fire AoE Fireball that doesn't do damage, but it will give fire resistance down debuff. If you get hit by another fire while you have this debuff, you will die. Ice Dragon. Ice Dragon will periodically shoot Ice Ball that also doesn't do damage, but it will give fire resistance down debuff. The good news is, Dragon will not target the same person. Instead, it will try to spread the ice resistant debuff to everyone. If there are people dead, the interval where you get hit by it increases. In order to remove the fire or ice debuff, you want to melt them. 1 fire plus 1 ice will cleanse both debuff. Lightning Dragon will give 2 lightning debuff which will explode in an AoE when the debuff expires. Getting hit by 1 AoE doesn't kill you, but it will give you a paralyzed debuff, which make mag execution really annoying. Note, lightning will always happen after fire debuff, so use that as a tell to check your debuff. Nell will hit tank with heavy tank buster. Feel free to infold this to help your healer, followed by Raven's Peak from Phase 1. Everyone should be stacked together since the Fire Terror will be happening soon. You want everyone to get hit by it to cleanse some of the ice debuff or give fire down to protect them for the next ice. My group decided to use 1 marker to be the stack spot. Nell will jump to 1 random person, but because we're stacked, she is going to jump on top of the party. Nell will immediately cast Lunar Dynamo after. And now here's where the hard part is. During Dynamo, you have 2 lightning debuff and 1 Raven Blight that will explode at the same time, but you have a limited amount of space. The easy way to resolve solve it is you have these 3 spots. Some group prefer to do DPS on the side, or you can have non-tank side by side to make it easier to see. The lightning debuff is not role-based, so there will be time where someone have to flex. To make it a bit easier, you can do DPS left, support right, and if there's 2 people on the same side that have it, you use tank 1, tank 2, healer 1, healer 2, flex priority. Same thing for DPS. Melee 1, melee 2, range 1, range 2. Now, the hard way to do it is after the jump, the tank with the debuff will pop sprint and run all the way out from the dynamo. This will leave more space for the 2 lightning debuff to stand on. Lightning debuff can also time the snapshot to run into the dynamo safely without hitting the party. The timing is after D on the dynamo. Second set of fire and lightning will happen after. Make sure everyone get hit by this one as well. During this, pull nail towards the center for the next mechanic. After the lightning explodes, everyone will stand on their clock spot, but close to nail. The markers will indicate where the safe spots are. Nail will cast Iron Chariot, but everyone should be outside already, so you don't have to worry about it. Third set of fire and lightning will happen during this as well, but if you spread in the clock spot as I mentioned, you can safely ignore this. On top of all that, one person will be marked with meteor. You need to walk towards the wall and drop it before going back to your clock spot. After Nail finishes casting Iron Chariot, Nail will shoot 3 supernovas and mark one person with Intermission pin after. Wait for the second supernova and go to the center. Make sure the center is clean from puddle. You can tank LP it if you don't think your group will make it. Last set of fire and lightning will happen. Make sure everyone get hit by it to cleanse any lingering of ice debuff. And lightning debuff go out after. Phew. That's a lot. But there's more! Divebomb! Oh god. Unlike normal, the dragon spawn location is completely randomized, so there are more patterns to look for. If you didn't know how the dragon works, a person will be marked with a green marker, which will aim where the dragon or dragons dash and fire line AoE. The order which dragon that will dive is starting north, going clockwise. The first 2 dragons will dash first, and the last dragon will dash second. You want to keep center clean, so the idea is to beat the dragons outside the arena. So the first bit is in between the 2 dragons, and the second bit is beside the 3rd dragon. The issue with Savage is that there are more curse patterns, which I'll be showing on the screen. So you can just bait the second on the opposite side of the first one. And if you are curious, here's how big the line AoE is. You can see that inside the marker is safe. Having a dedicated shot caller for the dragon will help tremendously. But here's the kicker. On top of the dive, double meteor stream will happen. And also one person will be marked for meteor, so they want to put it on the wall. There's a lot of stuff happening. Here's what my group come up with. Let's use this as an example. The first spot is at 2, and second spot is at 4. So first, green marker person will place it at 2. 4 people will be marked for meteor stream. They will stand inside the cardinal marker. When the second green marker appear, they go to the second spot. Meteor will always go to D, except that is the spot for the second green marker. Then they'll have to go to 4. Once the green and meteor marker disappear, go back in. If you don't have the marker, go to the center. But if you do, you go to the open cardinal. Make sure to pop your sprint since the execution is pretty tight. Whew. That was chaos. If you are able to survive that, Nail will jump to the center and cast Mega Flare, a red white damage. Make sure to mid this. Nail will cast another Bahamut's Favor and the cycle continues. The pattern is completely the same as the first set of Bahamut's Favors until the Divebomb. When the second set of Divebomb happens, Nail will shoot 4 supernovas. After that, Nail will jump and do Raven Dive on the highest MET player. During it, one player will be marked for Meteor. After Nail lands, she will immediately cast Lunar Dynamo, making a donut safe spot. How do you solve it? I don't know, and good luck. I hope this guide helps. If you have any feedback how this guide is presented, let me know. Good luck, Raiders. My name is Vanassador, and I hope you have fun.